Hey, welcome back everyone. We are going to be doing a little bit of VFR flying here. I have got the Oculus Rift S set up for this, so excuse the jittery and the jitters. Haven't quite gotten that taken down yet, or more or less finalized yet for this. So this is more of a trial run, but we're going to take a break from Southwest Virtual for a little bit, do a little bit of VFR flying. I've got the airplane up and running already, nothing programmed in the FNC, no autopilot, no nothing, just us trimming the aircraft and flying by hand the entire way. We're going to kind of cut out a little bit of the nonsense here, so we'll be transitioning shortly into our taxiing phase. But yeah, purpose of this video is just to kind of show you my hometown. This is Midland, Texas. We're known for oil field, big oil field as it is. And yeah, so with that being said, let's go ahead and transition into our taxiing. Okay, so we've got the aircraft moving. We're going to go ahead and taxi to runway 16 left. Midland International has 4 runways. 16 left is the RNAV approach for any arrivals coming into Midland International. They are set up for ILS approaches during inclement weather. That's going to be runway 10. We're going to be crossing that right now as we get to 16 left. But yeah, no, this is definitely a great payware aircraft or airport if anyone ever is looking to fly out of Midland International regularly. Everything is just beautifully modeled. It's way more accurate than the stock stuff, and definitely way more accurate than anything you can find freeware-wise. So if it's something that interests you, if you fly out of Midland International on any regular basis, highly recommend getting this payware airport. Yeah, everything's set to go. Flaps are set, trim set, nothing programmed in the FNC, like I said, because we're not really doing anything, just good old VR flying. But yeah, let's go ahead and get onto the runway. Okay, so now that we have gotten to the runway, we're going to look both ways, make sure the runway's clear, and get on the center line. A very cool fact about Midland International is that this runway 16 left is big enough to land a 747. I remember back in 04-ish, I think it was, I watched Air Force One land on this runway. That was so cool to see. Such a huge aircraft in a place that really doesn't see a whole lot of air traffic. I think we've got United, Continental, American Airlines, and Southwest that fly out of Midland International and head to DFW, Las Vegas, or Dallas Love Field, just kind of surrounding areas like that. Nothing too major, but it was so cool to see as a kid that huge aircraft land here. We're going to go ahead and get throttled up here, get up to about 70 knots. We're at 60 now. We have 70, 80 knots, and then go ahead and rotate on into the sky. All right, rotation, the positive rate. Gear up. We're going to gain a little bit of altitude here, probably going to be flying no higher than 3,000 feet, which in all reality is probably about 1,000 feet off the ground. This is going to be a sightseeing tour, so I want to be able to show y'all everything as close as humanly possible without crashing the aircraft. We're going to go ahead and head straight to downtown. If you can see right outside the cockpit glass, that is Interstate 20. I-20 is normally what I call it, but we're going to use this opportunity to gain a little bit of altitude, trim the aircraft out, and get ready for some sightseeing. It's definitely a lot easier to operate the aircraft when it's trimmed out. That way we don't have to worry about gaining or losing altitude or putting a lot of pressure on the stick and fighting the aircraft the whole way. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and transition and get a little bit closer to downtown. But as you can see, it is absolutely gorgeous out here today. Clear skies, calm winds. You can see the train yards over there. You can see Dealership Row as we get a little bit closer. But yeah, absolutely love my hometown. Lived here for about 20 years and do occasionally come back and see family. So yeah, as we get closer to downtown, I want to show you, this is one of 3 movie theaters here in Midland right there that we just passed. That is Synergy. Kind of similar to like a Dave & Buster's, but with movies. Definitely loved when that place opened up because it provided so much entertainment during our times here. Almost like adult gambling. One of the things it also featured was escape rooms. That was pretty cool. But yeah, as we keep flying, we're kind of flying over Dealership Row here along I-20 right now. You got your Ford dealership, Chevy, Dodge, you name it. I will say these trees are not as accurate as I would tell you they are. Midland is definitely in West Texas, which would be the literal desert of Texas if you've ever been out to Midland, Odessa. But yeah, definitely love the sightseeing. Getting this Oculus Rift S has probably been one of the funnest things I have ever purchased. Haven't quite gotten everything set up yet. I'm kind of watching some videos to see, what the best settings are. If you have any suggestions, definitely leave a like or a comment down there and let me know what you do to kind of get rid of the judders and the jitters and the stutters and the lags. Definitely would be all ears to any opinions, tips, or tricks that you have. Yeah, as we get closer to downtown, you can see we're about to pass it now. We're going to make a circle and head north along Big Spring Street. Yeah, as you can see, the Bank of America building, that is the tallest one that you see right there. And as we look down now, the building that's right there on the ground in front of it is the Midland County Public Library. I remember as a kid going there for school, checking out books, definitely losing a few. That's the courthouse right there. That entire building right there that we just passed is the new courthouse. Was probably built and finished a couple of years ago. Had jury duty there, hated it. Nice building though. But yeah, we're heading down south now towards the Claydesta building and the air park here in the north part of Midland. You can kind of see it right now. One of the most unique buildings I have ever seen is in the shape of a trapezoid. Most of these buildings down here that aren't downtown are going to be, obviously corporate offices, but Claydesta, that building that's just coming up our engine's nose right there, is definitely home to several oil field companies. And then, there is that trapezoid building right there. This is kind of an odd building. Definitely stood out to me as a kid. But as you can see, that is the air park. Midland College is right next to it as well. They actually have a student pilot program where you can go to Midland College and actually earn your pilot's license there. Had I known about that when I was going to school, I did know about it, but had I been interested in aviation back when I was in college, that would have probably been the thing I should have done. Looking back at it now, I would have loved to have been a private pilot. I would have loved to have been a commercial pilot. Definitely something I should have looked into. But yeah, we are, right now, we're following Loop 250. This loop touches I-20 from the west all the way to the east. This is basically how you would get around Midland, Odessa really fast. Speed limit says 55, 60. And I've seen people go faster than that. But yeah. Just got some apartment buildings on this side, nothing too fancy, but we are getting close to the mall, and as you can see, there is Midland Park Mall right there. So many weekends just being bored, just walking around the mall. And it looks like Microsoft Flight Simulator actually modeled in the fair, the carnival that would show up once or twice a year there. That's actually kind of neat. This is probably the entertainment district all along the Loop 250 right here. Some good restaurants in that area right there. Back when I was into cars, owning Mustangs, Corvettes and stuff, that's where some of the places we would hang out is right there. Just a whole lot of apartments, whole lot of living. This place is just so overcrowded, it's crazy. You wouldn't believe the traffic here for a place that's only 110,000 plus people. That was one of my complaints. 5 o'clock traffic was absolutely the worst. But as we're coming up along this now, that's the bowling alley that we just passed, and there is Lowe's. That is Lowe's Home Improvement. The duck pond is right behind there. Some good fishing right there. And then that is one of the junior highs and some local residencies there. There's the bank. Man, I can just picture all of this now. It's crazy. That's what I love about Microsoft Flight Simulators, because they model it so good. And I know that the textures and the resolution doesn't look good in this because we're in 1080p, but it is just gorgeous in 4K. I've got a 4090 and a 5900X processor, 64 gigs of RAM, and let me tell you, when it is at 4K 120 FPS, this game is absolutely beautiful. That's what I hope I can get this VR headset set up to. We're passing the Grande Stadium, and the baseball stadium. We have a minor league baseball team there called the Rockhounds, and then the football stadium is used for the high school football games. Huge stadium, very nice. You can definitely tell some money was put into that thing. And of course, as what we're passing now is oil field rig. Would not be a tour around Midland, Odessa without showing a rig. Every single one of those water pits, and there is just trucks upon trucks upon trucks, just constantly just lining up, waiting to dump water. When that rig goes away, they'll be doing some hydraulic fracturing there, and and there'll be trucks of sand. It's just lots of sand trucks there. That was one of my jobs before I moved out to the other part of Texas. Was oil field. Did that for a couple of years, and 2020 COVID laid us all off, and was like, you know what, this is my chance to move on to do something else, and here we are. Yeah, every one of those little squares was home to an oil field rig at some point in time. Some of my friends that still live here in Midland say they're starting to get frequent earthquakes, which honestly never experienced an earthquake before. Kind of on the bucket list there. We are following 191 right now. This is the main highway to connect Midland and Odessa without having to go all the way to South Midland and get on I-20 or Business 80. But now I'm going to kind of gain a little bit of altitude and show y'all Midland International from the air. You'll be able to see its 4 runways, and I'm also going to show you the CAF, which is the Commemorative Air Force. If any of you aviation enthusiasts have watched videos recently, you'll know in Dallas the CAF had an air show being performed, and the air boss unfortunately did not make some correct calls, and a P-36 intercepted a B-17 at the wrong time, and unfortunately, it's extremely sad. I remember seeing both of those aircraft flying at the CAF air shows here in Midland, and I mean, I remember it, and it's just so sad that happened. Rest in peace and respects to all the family. Several members did die. Most of the everyone in the aircrafts unfortunately passed away. But it's the thing about flying. You always got to be careful. If you're going to be in control of something, you just need to be in control and kind of know what you're doing. This is Midland International. We're looking at runway 10 right now. This is the ILS runway, and we're going to be flying over another oil rig. Those things are literally everywhere. They light up the sky. At night, you can see them for miles. But we're going to be flying over the CAF. This used to be the headquarters of CAF here in Midland, Texas, and was home to the B-29 Fifi. I remember my dad taking me out as a kid to the CAF and looking at that monster plane. Another fun fact is that they actually, one of the F-14 Tomcats there was one of the F-14s used in the Gulf of Libya. And if you ever remember watching the 80s version of Top Gun, the opening scene, that F-14 was basically part of the Gulf of Libya, in the Gulf in Libya, and basically that's where that story in Top Gun comes from, or the actions of that little confrontation there. It's almost one-for-one recreation in the movie, more or less. Kind of funny. They definitely had two Navy pilots keeping up foreign relations, I guess you could say. But yeah, no, we're making a circle right now. I want to show y'all there is a National Guard armory over here, home to the 36th Infantry Division. That's spent many a day in that armory, many long days. Unfortunately, out of the military now, but yeah, we are crossing right now. That is the National Guard armory. It is. I remember doing in that big loop right there. A lot of PT tests were had on that loop. So yeah, that's Midland, Texas. You're looking at Midland International Air and Spaceport right now. Not really a whole lot to see, but it's my hometown. I do enjoy visiting every now and then. That beautiful Payware Airport right there. That is awesome. I cannot stress this enough that if y'all fly out of Midland International at any frequency, buy it. It'll be so worth it. It is beautiful at night. They've modeled the water tower there. They've modeled everything. I mean, it is great. Everything works just perfectly. So yeah, let's go ahead and get prepped for landing. I'm going to go ahead and get the aircraft lined up for runway 16 left, and we will come back in for a landing. Okay, so we've got the aircraft turned around. We're lined up with runway 16 left, more or less, I guess. This is one of the few times I've ever flown a GA aircraft. I'm more tend to be on the side of commercial aircraft, but this plane isn't too terribly hard to navigate. I do kind of enjoy flying it, especially in VR. It's got nice big open windows. Definitely a little bit low on the approach. We're going to be doing a long landing today since this runway has plenty of room for us to make just a nice glide down to the runway here. This is one of the few times that the aircraft wasn't extremely jumpy on me, I would say. Just a nice controlled descent down the runway. We are going to float a little bit just because it's used to the aircraft, a bigger aircraft, honestly. But this was definitely a fun adventure. I loved just flying around Midland, and I hope y'all did too. With that being said, we have touched down on the runway, and let's go ahead and slow down and get the aircraft off the runway here. All right, we've made it off the runway. We're going to go ahead and taxi back to the general aviation parking. Definitely love this. And as we get back into the parking area, we can take a look at the modeled airport for Midland International. It has definitely a few gates. They're all numbered. They're all lined up properly. I know if any of y'all use the standard airport here, that building doesn't even exist. So definitely a nice change of pace to have something nice like that. So we're going to be looking for a parking spot here. Most of this big open area is for general aviation. They have a little private executive, more or less, I wouldn't say airport, but executive terminal right in front of us there that you can see. My times in the military, when we fly Chinooks out of this airport, that's kind of where we would go. We would avoid the main terminal and walk out on the tarmac. So yeah, definitely a lot of fun. We're going to come to a stop here. Perfect. We're going to go ahead and set the parking brake. And yeah, definitely go ahead and get the aircraft shut down here. Probably the quick way to shut it down, not the proper way. But it is what it is. It's a simulator. But yeah, beautiful area. Again, sorry for the stutters and the low quality of the video here. This is kind of my first time flying and doing VR and recording at the same time. So again, drop a comment if you got any tips or tricks for that. But yeah, this has been Captain Mac. This has just been a tour of Midland, Odessa, or I guess more or less just Midland. I hope you liked it. Definitely a change of pace. I loved doing this. I want to do some more of this. So if you want to see some general aviation around some of the major cities, definitely give me a comment or suggestion, and maybe we'll stop at some of the major airports while we're doing our Southwest Virtual, and take some flying around the downtown areas. But yeah, alrighty guys. Well, hope you enjoyed the video. Definitely we'll see y'all on Saturday with another video. But until then, leave a like, comment, and subscribe down below. That would be greatly appreciated. All right, guys, take care. Bye-bye.